Welcome to the Limewash Show, where beautiful walls don't come with toxic fumes. Hosted by Ben Lynch, owner of Limewash Pros, each episode explores a healthier, more natural alternative to traditional paint. One that looks better, lasts longer, and lets your home breathe. Serving homeowners throughout North Texas, Limewash Pros proves you don't have to sacrifice style to choose a smarter finish.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Chelsea Earlywine, co-host and producer, here in the studio with Ben Lynch, owner of Limewash Pros. Ben, how's it going today?
It's going good, Chelsea. How are you, ma'am?
Doing good. Thank you. Well, happy to be here with you today, Ben. So over the years, you've grown a remarkable following. However, some of our listeners might not be familiar with your full journey. So let's take it from the top. Could you share a little bit about your background, about your company, and what you do?
So that's a very long story, Chelsea. It goes back to COVID, actually. And the shutdown happened, the 2-week shutdown happened. At that time, I was actually moving to Cambodia, and I was going to be starting a business in Cambodia in industrial hemp. And it's a very small world. There's a lot of crazy coincidences that happen through our founding story. But that's where it started. And my plane got canceled the day I was leaving. It was March 17th, 2019. So that was the day that Anthony Fauci came on and did the 14-day shutdown. My plane was leaving in like 3 hours when that happened. So I had, sold everything I had. I'd gotten rid of my house, sold my motorcycle, my truck, all my clothes, everything. I had a duffel bag to my name because I wasn't going to be coming back for a while, and it was like a 2 or 3 year plan, and you just buy what you need out there. So there I am stuck with a duffel bag and, no plan. And they do the 14-day shutdown, which we all know that ended up being, like a year or more than a year. So it went for, I would say 3 or 4 months. I just kind of hung around. I stayed at my family's house and I didn't want to make any commitments. I didn't want to get, I was an electrician before then, and I didn't want to go back into the job sector. I didn't want to get another house, sign a lease, nothing that was going to, hold me down for any length of time. I wanted to be ready for when the border opened back up so I could continue my plan. But after about 3 or 4 months of waiting, you slowly realize that it's not going to open, and you have to make a new plan. So I started looking like every avenue that I could. And I would kind of go, hey, can I do a business here? Can I do a business here? Anything that I saw, I would kind of just run through a simulation in my head to see, what would be a good fit. And I didn't really have anything going in terms of that. I was doing electrical contract work, and one of my best friends, they bought their first home in Waxahachie, Texas, and I went and helped them move in. And after we got done moving everything in, we're hanging outside drinking a beer, and she goes, I think we're going to lime wash it. And I'd never heard of lime wash at that time. I didn't know what that was. So I'm like, but I'm doing this thing where everything that I basically see, I'm like analyzing it from an entrepreneur's perspective. And I'm like, lime wash, what's lime wash? So she tells me about it, and she's like, well, it's really, really trendy. It's all over Instagram, and it's really cheap to make. You can make your own, and it's beautiful, and it's got this ecological, friendliness to it. Solve some problems, but mainly she was just catching that initial trend, like the white brick.
Yeah.
Everybody white brick and black trim. So it has lime wash, and you can distress it, and the brick will bleed through and give it like an antique look. So that's what got me started. And then I just started learning everything about it. And the more I learned about it, the more I realized, like, holy crap, this might actually be something. I think I want to go all in on this. And that's how we got going. And so we made our own lime wash for a long time. We still do. And that's a cool story that I was digging through. One thing about lime, any of the lime-based products, there's very little information online about it. So it was really hard to learn how to make it, for one, and how it worked, like how to apply it. This stuff was around centuries ago. It was the main substance that was used. Before modern paint, lime wash was the only paint. But ever since the early 1920s, which is when modern paints were made, ever since then, we've really lost, in the last generation, all of the knowledge that we had on lime wash because nobody used it anymore. It wasn't in the big chemical companies' best interest, like DuPont, et cetera, to to push Limewash. It's a natural paint and anybody can make it. It's very, very cost effective. It's very healthy. It lasts forever, you know? So there's no downsides to it, but it's kind of like the supplement industry. If you've ever looked into the supplement industry, yeah, like vitamins and et cetera, you can't patent that stuff. If it's a natural
Mm.
thing that exists on this earth, you can't patent a formula.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
right. And so that's why, really, that's why we have modern paint. If anybody wonders why, how did we go from Limewash to the latex paint that we have now? That's the answer. It's because if you're a billion-dollar chemical company, you want to be able to patent the product that you're selling where nobody else can just make it at home for, you know, almost nothing.
Right.
So that's what happened. And then they flood the market with marketing and we forget about our lineage with Limewash and the beauty of it, the nature of it. So I had to kind of put all that back together and that took some doing because there's very little info online. I ended up buying like tons and tons of books. Most of them were around 100 years old because that's when those books were written. And I stumbled upon a book called Lime and Mortar in the US. And it was written in like 1781, I believe. And it's a really big book. I got it for like $4. And so I'm just like digging through like, what can I learn about lime? And in this book, it went through all the uses of lime in the 1700s because they used it for everything. All the different mixes, the different mortars you can make, lime washes. Well, as I'm going through this book, I come across the recipe for the White House. So the White
Wow.
House is washed. And
Wow.
yeah, and that was one of the things that made me like really like lime washes. I'm like, well, the White House it was lime washed originally. And if you go on the White House's website, the story's there. And it was made out of sandstone. So naturally it was like a tan color, but they lime washed everything back then because lime wash protects the masonry substrate from the freeze thaw cycle. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically the detriment to all of our roads. That's why we have to have the roads redone every few years.
Okay.
Water penetrates down into the pores of the concrete, which is lime, and then it freezes. And when moisture freezes, it expands. And so it makes these cracks. And every time it happens, it makes them a little bit bigger. So up north, it was detrimental. They would lime wash everything because it would keep the moisture from really soaking in and it would protect against that freeze thaw cycle. So buildings that, you know, would probably only last 100 or 200 years with lime wash, they can essentially last forever. And like if we go through history, the Egyptian pyramids, they're lime washed. The Great Wall of China is lime washed. Notre
Wow.
Dame is lime washed. The Pantheon in Rome, Roman Colosseum, the White House. Like if it's a masonry substrate and it's more than 500 years old, it is lime washed. That's the only way it's still here. And those things are thousands of years old. So yeah, if that doesn't show you what a remarkable product it is and the uses for it, you know, that nothing will.
Wow.
So that's how we got started anyways. And I got that recipe for the White House lime wash and then we trademarked that and we made that our lime wash and it's called the White House blend. And it's just that super bright colonial white like you see on the White House.
Oh my gosh, Ben, what a fascinating story and a journey that you've had from Cambodia to Limewash.
I
Wow,
know. You know what's
very
even
interesting.
crazier? So Cambodia, I was going to Cambodia to get into hemp, industrial hemp. So Donald Trump passed the Industrial Hemp Act in 2018, I believe. At that time, I had like a 3.5 year plan for hemp, but it needed to be legalized before I could do it. So I spent 3 years setting up Cambodia and I had farmers in Cambodia. I had 80% of the world's hemp is grown in Eastern Asia, Cambodia and Vietnam. So that's why I was going there. And I was going to set up an import export for hemp so I could supply it to the Western world and basically just help expedite shipping and cargo and logistics. That was going to be the deal there. But the number one use of hemp, industrial hemp, is something called hempcrete. And so this story, it starts here with hemp and it goes way around and hits lime wash. And then it actually circles back around to hempcrete. And there's nothing I could have done to have controlled that. I had no clue going into it. But hempcrete is made with lime. It's made with lime
No
and
way.
hemp and
Wow.
water. Yes, that's how you make it. And it's like, you know, it's like the most durable concrete that's ever been made. And it's super flexible. And then what do you do on top of that when you build a home out of hempcrete? You lime wash it. That's the
Oh,
natural paint that binds to it. So yeah, interestingly enough, somehow I'm still like doing the same thing in a way. And it connects back to what I was going to do in Cambodia.
oh, that is so interesting, Ben. So when you are not busy running your business, what do you like to
Mhm.
do for fun?
Um, I haven't done anything for fun in a while. I love hanging out with my family, my wife, my kids. I have a 3-year-old Walker
Oh,
and 2 boys, Wyatt and Weston. And so they're 12, 10, and Walker's 3,
wow.
or he's about to be 3. And so my hands stay full with him. He's as crazy as I am. And so when I'm not working, I'm just at home like all the time. And we're playing, we're doing, whatever we can do. But I work a lot. So, business is demanding and you got to do what you got to do. Right now I'm in Midland. I'm out of town for a week. I won't be back till Sunday. And then I'll probably spend 3 or 4 days just hanging out the house with them.
Oh, you're so busy. Well, we appreciate you taking time to do this podcast. I'm very excited for our upcoming episodes where we will dive into some frequently asked questions. That's all the time we have for today, Ben, but we will catch you on the next episode.
Okay. Thank you, Chelsea.
Thanks for listening to the Limewash Show. If you're ready to upgrade your home without harsh chemicals, or you just want a finish that actually turns heads, we've got you covered. For more information, visit limewashpros.com or call 469-773-9067 to schedule a convenient in-home appointment. Naturally better walls start here.